Are we going to keep staring at each other, or are you going to invite me in?
Oh yes, forgive me. Do come in.
Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Blake. Sophia Blake. Mr. McPherson, I have an offer to make. Interesting for you, vital for me.
I don't think you quite understand. Now, all I want to do is paint, and nothing else.
Your talents as a private dick brought me here.
You mentioned an interesting offer. What exactly was it?
Mr. McPherson, you've been in Paris for some time and I need your help. Only you can investigate this case. I'm ready to pay anything.
Could you give me any more details about the case? At the moment, it all seems rather nebulous.
You probably haven't heard about the Orphée case, Mr. McPherson. The newspapers have kept it quiet. A couple of American tourists were brutally murdered. They were my sister and her husband. I want to know the circumstances surrounding their death.
Your sister and her husband, they were both American. What exactly were they doing in Paris?
I was supposed to meet them in Paris. You know, Mr. McPherson, visiting Europe was my sister Ruby's childhood dream. With Mr. White, her wish came true. They were so very much in love.
Are the police handling the case? If they are, it may well complicate things. Do you know the name of the inspector in charge of the investigation?
The detective in charge of the investigation is named Lebrun. You know, the police are the same in every country, Mr. McPherson. Whether you're in New York or in Paris, you mustn't be in a hurry. Lebrun is no exception.
These murders were committed in Paris. Do you know whereabouts in Paris?
A hotel in a chic part of Paris in the 8th district. The Hôtel Orphée. They arrived there about a week ago. They were found dead in their hotel bedroom.
I don't get it. I've never worked for you before, not here nor in New York, yet you come to me and ask me to find your sister's murderer. Why me, Miss Blake?
Your reputation, Mr. McPherson. I find your nickname spooky to be charming. I have friends who know people at the Pinkerton Agency in New York. The suspicion surrounding you is totally unfounded, naturally. You are the man I need for this investigation. Discreet, capable of seeing beyond appearances.
How did they die? Are you sure they were murdered? It may just have been a terrible accident.
The Whytes were found decapitated in their hotel room, Mr. McPherson.
I don't want to seem overly interested, but why don't we settle my fees before we go any further?
This case may take you several days. I'll give you 500 straight away and 500 per day of successful investigation.
Your offer is very reasonable. I accept.
I owe you a lot, Mr. McPherson. Much more than the money I'm paying you.
To be honest, I'm not sure I should take the case. Firstly, because where there's a murder, there's a murderer. Inspector Lebrun is in a better position to arrest murderers than I am.
Mr. McPherson, I have no faith in the police. The 8th District Police Station, Lebrun especially, is trying to hush up the affair. All they care about is keeping their reputation as a chic area.
You'd like me to begin right away. I think I have all the information I need to begin. You're sure you haven't forgotten anything?
The police didn't find any items of value in the room. Yet my sister and her husband traveled very comfortably, in luxury and with old family heirlooms. It was a passion they both shared.
It is risky traveling with large sums of money. It would be a shame if they'd been killed for that reason. How valuable were these family heirlooms?
An old relic of no value. My sister was very fond of it. Of no value whatsoever.
I hope to have results quickly. I'll be in touch with you when I've made some progress in my investigation. Goodbye, Miss Blake.
I ask only one thing of you. Be discreet. The police must not suspect you're involved. If you'd like to meet me...
Hello, what number can I dial for you?
Forgive me, miss. I seem to have misplaced the number. Thanks all the same.
If you want to talk to someone, you will need their number. Glad to be of service, sir. Goodbye.
Gee, these suitcases are heavy.
And do not forget, young man, the elevator is still out of order.
Oh, brother.
Hello, what number can I dial for you?
Forgive me, miss. I seem to have misplaced the number. Thanks all the same.
If you want to talk to someone, you will need their number. Glad to be of service, sir. Goodbye.
Good evening, sir. Welcome to the Hotel Orphée. My name is Isidore Petit. What can I do for you?
Good evening. My name is Gus McPherson. I'm a journalist for the Clairon de Paris. Could I ask you a few questions concerning the death of 2 American tourists? Name of Whyte. That's it. Whyte with a Y, not an I.
Sir, you work for a vulgar little rag. Your newspaper is a hodgepodge of lies and innuendos.
I'm sorry. I'm not employed directly by the Clairon. I'm a freelance reporter.
Those newspapers could not care less about the damage they cause. Such words tarnish the reputation of our establishment. Who will want to rent that room now?
Are you going to turn this room into a tourist attraction? Spend a spine-tingling night in the room where a horrific murder was committed?
Mr. McPherson, a bit of restraint, please. 2 innocent people met their death in that room. One must not joke about such matters. Besides, we already had Madame Loiseau as an attraction on that floor, and that is definitely enough.
Mrs. Loiseau. Who is she, the chambermaid? Did she see anything the night of the murder?
You know, Madame Loiseau sees things that nobody else can see. If you want any more information, contact the police directly. I'm afraid that I can do no more for you.
What can I get you, sir?
My name is McPherson. I'm a private detective.
You really are a private eye, just like in the movies? You've even got the hat, and you're American too. Huh. Private Dick.
Do the police have a suspect?
I told them what I knew. I definitely saw someone by the window all evening. That is my testimony. They can do what they like with it.
Can you tell me any more?
You know I would like to help you, but I think you had better deal directly with the police. A man named Lebrun is leading the inquiry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure, the front desk clerk will not like to see me going upstairs alone. Must find a ruse or persuade him to come up with me.
You again! Sir, I have nothing more to say to you.
Are you quite sure, Mr. Beauvais, that you have not seen him?
Yes, I'm sure. Go on, Mrs. Elway, go home. We will take care of this, I promise.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Beauvais. You're so kind. The next time I'm at Cézanne, I'll bring you back a nice bottle of red wine. That's a promise. Goodbye, then.
Goodbye. Ah, a little bottle of red. Come on, next. Can I help you?
You're a policeman. My name is Gus McPherson. I'm an American journalist. I would like to ask you a couple of questions about the Orphée case.
I do not deal with you journalist types.
I understand. It's always intimidating to come up against a journalist. In any case, I'm not supposed to speak to the police either. Shall we make a little exception?
Does your rag have a name?
In fact, I'm a journalist from New York. In Paris, I make my living as a private detective. I find it hard writing in French, you see. But that doesn't mean I do not notice things.
A private dick. I see. Well, you'd better show me your license.
A license? Of course I have a license. It's back home right now. I can go and pick it up if you want to see it that much, but we'll waste a whole lot of time.
Not bad. But you will have to come back. There is no such thing as permits for detectives.
I thought you wanted to see my private investigator's license from New York. Sorry. It's good to know I don't need a license to work in Paris.
This is not New York, Sonny. We are in Paris, and we do not like little snoops here. Who hired you?
For the moment, I can only tell you two things. She's the sister of one of the victims from the Orphée, and she trusts my services more than she does yours.
The murder at the Orphée? Is it the victim's sister who is paying? That would surprise me. There was no family at all in this case. Anyway, it is simple. There is nothing to say, no more to the journalist than to the detective.
Just a helping hand so I can launch my investigation in the right direction. That way we will not get our lines crossed. I don't want to impede your work in any way.
Forget it. It is baking in here, isn't it? You would not happen to have anything to drink, would you? Just one for the road?
Sir? Give me a bottle of red.
Full of promises and empty-handed, huh?
I do happen to have a little something for you. An amazing bottle of red wine. You cannot say no to that, officer. Don't you feel a little thirsty?
You again! Sir, I have nothing more to say to you.
Sir?
The police have a suspect. I saw the inspector's report. What do you know about the man who spent the entire evening by the window?
That is certainly true. He was here on the night of the murder.
And he stayed there alone for the whole evening.
Now let me think. I saw him chatting for a while with Mallet.
Who is this Mallet?
Théo Mallet. Works at the Orphée. He's a lout.
And do you know where I might find this Mallet?
Mallet hangs out at the Alambic, a bistro in the 14th district. That is where he gambles away his wages.
Why is he a lowlife?
He likes to bet, and when you do, you have to pay your gambling debts. It's a vicious circle. Mallet is a bona fide con man.
Did you notice whether Mallet gave any money to this man?
No. It's the man who gave the money to Mallet. I remember, it was cash.
Did you see this man with the Whytes?
I have never seen the Whytes, under any circumstances. There's no way I would have noticed them with that man.
The Whytes never came to the cafe.
I would know for sure. A pair of Americans outside the tourist season are pretty conspicuous. But if you want to be sure, check at the Orphée's reception desk. Maybe they would know.
Until what time did the man stay?
Now let's see if I can remember. He arrived at around 8 p.m., took a seat by the window, and dashed off just before the storm broke, at around 11 p.m.
Did you see what direction he went when he left?
I don't know. You cannot see outside from in here. You'd better check at the Orphée. Petit, the receptionist, would probably know. He was on duty that night.
So these two men may have no connection to the Whytes' murder.
Sorry, but this is your investigation, not mine. I can only tell you the facts, nothing more.
Could you give me a description of this mysterious character?
You could draw him? That's really neat. I'll give you a description right now. He was tall, very tall, heavy, black mustache, square-faced, and dreadful eyes. Threatening even. A tough guy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.